Hello boyos, Rich Boy J are back with another video, and this is going to be another episode of Your Questions Answered. If you're not familiar with the series, Your Questions Answered is a Q&A series that I do here on the channel, so if you want to see one of your questions answered in one of the videos, put it in the comment section, make sure it's Lego Star Wars or Lego Star Wars related, and then check back next week to see if you made the cut. As I'm sure you can realize, we have a little bit of a change of scenery right now. It's really just because my Lego room has essentially been ransacked, like my chair barely fits in there right now. I've just been working on some projects and stuff like that, so I'm in here for now, and hopefully you guys won't mind too much. So let's start with the first question. It comes from the Java Lord. He says, are there any Clone Wars figures you actually like? I personally love the ARC Troopers and the Cad Bane figures. So as for Clone Wars figures I actually like, I'd probably say all the Phase 2 Troopers are pretty good. They, I feel, are the least stylized of the bunch. Like, if you compare the Phase 2 armor to the Phase 1 armor in terms of the Clone Wars figures, the Phase 2 one is much closer to what we would expect in the film, so I certainly appreciate that. The helmet still leaves a little bit to be desired, but all in all, I would say for Clone Wars figures I actually do like, those Phase 2 Troopers are ones that I actually wouldn't mind buying and having a decent-sized army of. However, the reason I haven't gone all in on this is because I still am convinced Lego will eventually give us either some sort of battle pack, some sort of set, will give us easy access to some of those Phase 2 troops that we like, i.e. Shock Troopers, i.e. Fellow First Troopers. Hopefully that will actually happen soon, which is kind of why I've held off on building a big army of those guys, but I don't know. Hopefully that actually happens. Lego's kind of making me a little bit nervous with the fact that it hasn't so far. But now that we have confirmation Clone Wars is coming back next February, this could mean we're getting sets in January. I think the fact that we haven't heard anything about it makes me a little less confident in that. I would say maybe it's more realistic that we'll end up with sets in like the spring wave for the Clone Wars, but I still anticipate to actually see those sets come out in some capacity. So yeah, we'll see about that, and thanks for your question, Jawa Lord. Next question comes from Carter Darren. He says, so my question today is, would you rather have 100 501st Clone Troopers or 100 Death Trooper Specialists, the ones with the pauldron and ammo pack? This is so easy for me. Definitely the 501st Troopers. Like, the Death Troopers are cool, and especially like the squad leaders with the pauldron and the ammo pack are cool as well, but I wouldn't want 100 of those. Like, I wouldn't even want like 10 of those. Do we ever even see more than 2 or 3 of those on screen at any given time? Like, I have the 2 that came from Krennic Shuttle, and honestly, that's enough for me. The standard ones came in the battle pack. I have a decent group of those guys as well. I just don't see myself needing a ton of Death Troopers. It's already kind of annoying me that we're seeing them pop up so often now, considering they were really only supposed to be in Rogue One, and they started popping up in Rebels, and apparently they're going to be in The Mandalorian. I kind of don't like that troop backtracking, where it's one thing to be like, okay, like, I'm making this new Star Wars thing, and this troop is going to be here because we either have a special use for them or for whatever reason. But to do that and then in, like, other series have that new troop in it as well, it's just, like, it's so hard to believe, especially when you start having those troops pop in multiple places, as to, like, why wasn't this troop in, like, the original trilogy or other, like, movies or pieces of canon before it was specifically introduced to serve this specific purpose. So, I don't want to see any more Death Troopers. I don't want to collect any more Death Troopers. They're certainly a very cool figure to have and a great armor design by far. But I'm fine with just keeping those guys in Rogue One, and I'm fine with just keeping a relatively small quantity of them in my collection. My next question comes from Matt Hudak. He says, great episode as usual, Jay. Keep up the great work, buddy. I always find myself intrigued by what you have to say and how you build. You're very inspiring and help fuel my Lego love. That means so much to me, man. I'm so glad that I can do that for you. And his question is, do you have any interest in the Jurassic World sets or mocks? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. For one, I want to say that I like the movies Jurassic World. 2, much less than 1, but 1 I thought was very strong film. And one thing that you can really check out, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely urge you to do so, is in my mock showcase video from Brick World Chicago, not this year, but from 2018, there was just giant, beautiful Jurassic World mock, and it was just so cool. It was my favorite thing at the convention. It was just so captivating, and having seen that, I really am inspired to do something along those lines. Like, I've always wanted to do some sort of Lego theme park mock, and I think that Jurassic World would just be a great take on that, especially given all the sets we've gotten for Jurassic World and all the sets we're seeming to continue to be getting because there's a new cartoon series coming out. So I really do like the sets. I keep eyeballing them on the shelves. I've gotten a few of them, but I really just want to get a bunch of them. You know, like, when there's just this persistent desire for me to buy a set that's not Star Wars related, it clearly means something special to me. So I definitely do want to build up a decent collection of Jurassic World sets for whenever, if ever, I decide to do a big Jurassic World mock. But if this is something you're specifically interested in, definitely go check out my video, a mock showcase video from Brick World last year. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. Next question comes from Grey Jedi. He says, would you like to see new TIE Fighter variants made in LEGO, such as the TIE Brute we see in the Solo movie, or older sets like the TIE Interceptor / Bomber remade? Great video. So I think generally, yes, this is something that I feel the community has really been clamoring for, specifically with us getting some of those older variants, i.e. the Interceptor and the Bomber. It honestly is quite shocking. We have not gotten either of those in so long. So I think that if anything, the TIE Interceptor is definitely due up next for a remake, and then probably the Bomber following that. As for the new variants like the TIE Brute, honestly don't really care to see that made in LEGO. It was such a nothing ship in Solo. Honestly kind of wonder why it was there. I guess there's like a new TIE quota for all these films that they have to meet, and if they don't introduce at least one new TIE fighter, that's a problem. So I mean, for the TIE Brute, I mean, it's not really an interesting design in my opinion, and it doesn't really do much of anything interesting in the film, I'd say. So TIE Brute, not so much, but I think in general, LEGO's pretty good about producing the new TIEs. Like from the Resistance TV show, we got 2 of them, and neither of them are like anywhere close to being the main vehicles in the series. So I think LEGO definitely understands like how cool TIE fighters are, and we definitely do get a lot of them in LEGO. It just would be nice to see them kind of fill in some of the ones that definitely need updates, like the TIE Interceptor, like the TIE Bomber. Next question comes from Rec FN. He says, what is a good way of getting back into LEGO after a 4-year break? Wow. So if you already have a pre-existing collection, I'd say first just break that out, and look through what you have, see what sets you like, what sets you maybe didn't care for, just see what kind of recaptures your attention for those sets. And I guess you can kind of use that as like a metric to see like, okay, like maybe I want more sets from this film, or I don't have sets from this thing and I would like to kind of fill in that blank in my collection. Like see what you already have and then see how you can kind of supplement that with sets that are on shelves nowadays. And if you don't have a pre-existing collection, just go into the LEGO store. I mean, just go see what's on the shelves, see what you might or might not like. And I mean, just even if it's something you're not super interested in or that you don't really know much about, just I'd say pick up a set and build and just see kind of how you feel about it. Like if you are really enjoying the process, then maybe that'll kind of inspire you to get more sets. If you're not really feeling it, then maybe the 4-year break was necessary and you probably want to extend that break a little bit longer. But yeah, there's so many different ways to get back into LEGO. When I got back into LEGO, I went basically back through my own collection, which was kind of sucky because all my sets were basically broken down and in bags. So like even to this day, those sets are still in bags broken down. But it was kind of a cool way for me to just like go back through and kind of relive some of those moments I had as a child, like buying and building those sets. And one of the first things I actually did was I actually built a mock. So if you're interested in doing your own custom stuff, that could also be a cool way to get back into LEGO. There's so many different things you can do with a LEGO Star Wars collection. The possibilities are certainly endless. Next question comes from Little Bricks. He says, do you think LEGO will return to films like Solo and Rogue One in the future to release more or re-release sets from these films? That's actually a really good question, and it's honestly kind of a difficult one to answer. Like, think about it, right? We had an entire series of the Clone Wars, right? And we were getting sets, I say, relatively consistently throughout the series, to a lesser extent towards the end. But we still got them. But like at this point, you know, as we're like 4 or 5 years removed from the conclusion of that series, we don't get very many Clone Wars sets. In fact, it's usually like 1 set a year, like specifically from that series. So like when you talk about movies, like that's, I would say, a level above it. But you still have to consider, like, you know, how much are they really willing to take from Rogue One and Solo, given that they're spinoffs. I would say, if anything, there's a bigger chance of us getting stuff from Rogue One. I'm considering just, I think fans generally like that film more, and there's probably just more things to do from Rogue One, like the Zeta class shuttle, like something from Edu, Saw Gerrera. Like there's so many different parts of that movie that you can pick from that we haven't already gotten. So I think that it'll be really telling, like next year and the year after that, during this kind of hiatus period where we're not actively getting new sets. Like if I had to, I'm sorry, we're not actively getting new films. If I had to put like a bet on it, I would say that we're probably going to get at least one Solo or Rogue One set next year. That's my prediction. So we'll see whether or not that comes into fruition. I would definitely like to know, what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to get more Solo and Rogue One sets anytime soon? Or do you think that's kind of something that's going to be put on the back burner for the time being? Final question comes from Millennium Bricks. He says, what software do you use to edit your videos? I use a free software called DaVinci Resolve. It's for Windows. You can get it. It's free. I like that it's free. I use it because it's free. And that's what I use to edit my videos. It's been basically since I've started YouTube pretty full time. That's what I've used, and it's been mostly reliable. So shout out to DaVinci Resolve. But that's going to finish up the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out this Your Questions Answered. If you want to see one of your questions answered in the videos, leave it in the comment section below. Make sure it is Lego Star Wars or Lego Star Wars related. If you like what I do, go out and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.